This is Bobby Blackhat. Welcome to the Red Shoes Podcast.
Put on your red shoes. Put on your red shoes. Put on your red shoes. Put on your red shoes tonight.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Red Shoes Podcast. I'm in the studio tonight with, oh, by the way, I'm George Red Shoes. I'm in the studio tonight with Kadence Grunder. Is that pronounced properly?
Yep.
Okay. And with a band called the Hot Messes. A little bit about Kadence. A musician from Virginia Beach who performs in the area of Virginia Beach, Hampton, Norfolk, Newport News, and occasionally Williamsburg. And that's where I've met them several times. And welcome to the Red Shoes Podcast studio.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I gotta say, I was also thinking on the way here, like, are you actually going to wear red shoes? And yeah, you are in fact wearing red shoes. I don't have red shoes myself, but I do have a red vest.
Okay.
So that was the way I like kind of tied it together.
That's cool. So, well, welcome here. You came all the way from Virginia Beach, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And cool. So let's see. Let's start out. I got some notes here. It says you grew up as a percussionist from the third grade through high school, eventually putting it behind you. You then joined the Navy for 6 years. Once you got out, you wanted to dive back into music, so you learned how to sing properly.
Very much.
Play guitar, bass, and harmonica, while also learning how to record and produce your own music. Prior to your music direction, you did a lot of freelance writing, blogs, and SEO writing for IT and gaming, and your own creative writing. So I assume that kind of helps out when it comes time to writing your own music.
A little bit, yes. At least when it comes to the endurance of actually sitting down in a cafe as well, as being the quote unquote starving artist that's writes all the time. Yeah, doing all that.
So are you new age, like on your phone sort of thing, or do you carry notebooks and pen and paper?
I do actually have a notebook on me, and anyone that's known me in the Navy, like, they always know I always have a notebook on me, and that's always kind of carried over into the thing. As far as like the way I like kind of write and record a lot of my music, and well, specifically writing or putting out the lyrics portion, it's kind of all over the place and random to how I remember lyrics. Sometimes it just comes to me in like a dream, and then I wake up and I put it on my phone. Sometimes I'm just walking about my day and I have my notebook and I just write on there.
Right.
And then all my music is compiled in Microsoft OneNote. I have a OneNote book that has like all my writing stuff, and that's like my master journal. So it's
nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. You mentioned it's comical how much you get to tag your name to all the different titles in your song credits, while only doing music professionally for the past 2 years. You have spent every waking moment trying to play better, to put on shows that impress and amaze, from intimate original sets to full-blown cover gigs in bars and breweries. That pretty much sums it up, I think.
Yeah, from the beginning, I've like tried to do a lot of things kind of on my own. A lot of my friends tell me I need to kind of like take a break, and a lot of my family says that as well. But everything from like that's writing, recording, producing, and all the instruments is all entirely me. That being said, on this upcoming album that I'll talk about later, that I actually do have my very first ever feature, which is a really, really cool thing.
Oh, that's cool.
But for the most part, everything has just kind of been on my own. And it's been like very daunting. And I think a lot of other people outside the music industry, I'm sure you can appreciate this, but like they see a musician or see somebody in the musical and the artistic career path, and they see, that final song they put out, or a show that they're doing, or whether it's a painting or a sculpture, but they really don't see the days, the weeks, the months, the years that it takes to like build up and practice like these skill sets. And I think if there's any one thing, I may not be the best singer, I may not be the best guitar player, I'm far from any of the best of like any of those things at all. But I think one thing I am proud of for myself is just the grit that I have to just keep going. And I think that's what kind of helps.
Well, I can definitely rate being a band photographer.
Yes, yeah, we're on scene as well.
Well, that's cool. And then I think I heard that you're saying you're back in school now.
Yes. Back in January, I started going to ECPI in Virginia Beach campus.
Okay.
I started going back and forth for cybersecurity, which is fun because I got out of IT to do music stuff, and now it's like I've gone
full circle.
Yeah, literally full circle. I've just come right back in.
Well, what were you in the Navy? What'd you do in the Navy?
It was an IT.
IT.
Fit, yeah.
Okay.
So actually, well, like I guess like the more like in-depth story behind it is again, I picked up drums while I was in 3rd grade, and I did that all through high school. My family, my mom's side, they were all percussionists, and so that just kind of went on me. And my brother was actually a guitarist, or the guitarist of the family. And all through high school, I did the marching band, concert band, jazz band.
Okay.
I was in a pipe band for a few years, like bagpipes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've done every sort of like parade, funeral, marching band show, like any kind of show before the age of 18. I've done.
Wow.
It. And then I graduated, and I originally was planning to be a musician in the Navy, but then my mom was like, I should pick a real job. So I was looking around, and I thought, yeah, IT seems pretty cool. And then it's funny because like for 6 years, I just like almost cut off music and it made a lot of sense. I still like knew how to like play drums, but I just did pure IT stuff, and I dived down that whole like rabbit hole of the Navy and the military. Which also, I'm a little side comment. I meant to ask, you served as well?
My father did. My sister and I were born at Fort Eustis. We were Army brats, and he was a medevac helicopter pilot in the Army for 23 years, and he retired back here, so that's how I got transplanted back here.
Gotcha. I remember seeing a picture of like you posting in uniforms with someone that looked like you. I was like, wait, is that it? Yeah.
No, what it was for Halloween, you probably saw the Halloween post. I actually went in my closet the other day to look for my steampunk outfit from a couple years ago, and there was a suit bag in there, and I laid it on the bed, and I'm like, and I just totally forgot about the fact that it was my dad's uniforms. Put it on and it fit, so I used it for Halloween.
Of course, right on.
Yeah, so that's cool.
But then once I got out the Navy, I immediately found work because I dived into IT, and I found work immediately as a contractor. I did that for quite a while, and then I remember walking in. Well, and I remember like after a while, just something was sort of kind of like waiting, like eating at me in like the back of my head, and then I remember walking in one Monday morning, like thinking like, in theory, I was 25, 26 years old, somewhere around there. It's like I already had a very decently paying job. Like I could have been doing this for 20 years, retired, and that would have been it. Like that would have just been like the story of like my life, so to speak. And then again, I walked in work one day morning. I was like, something is that this story isn't over. Like I feel like there's something like more to this.
Right.
So I literally walked up to my new manager. I got transferred. That's a different story. I went up to him and said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I don't think this is for me. I quit." And then I went to I actually drove home, typed up my resignation letter, gave it to my boss, gave it to my actual boss, and I'll never forget what he told me. He said, as I was like turning in, he said, sometimes you have to do things that we don't want to do in life to succeed. And what I really should have said, it's one of those like shower things. I should have said like, that's kind of the point of like reason why I'm like doing this.
Right.
And gave a resignation letter. And then I went straight to my local cafe, and I started writing like my first like fantasy novel, and started like just diving in. And 3 years later, it's just been me pounding my head into the wall for creative writing, doing freelance type of stuff, eventually picking up bass and guitar, and just learning a whole bunch of like other like different things. And that's just been my main motivation to like be here now, is that like I've already gave up that main lifeline, that main opportunity I have to just like coast for the rest of my life. I've reached a point where it's like I want to like really see what I can do. And so far, this is going kind of good. I mean, I'm here now, so
there you go.
It's been working out.
So, you do solo, but you've also have a band called the Hot Messes. So how's that work? I mean,
it's good. I honestly never really saw myself to like playing in a band at first, but it's me, Connor Pittman, who I'm sure you might see, who he plays like all over the place, and then Liz and Nico, they do vocals and lead guitar, and we're like a cover like party rock band, so we play like we'll play like Painted Black and Mr. Brightside. Obviously, I throw in some Prince type up.
That's Prince.
So, literally, pup named Prince walked in on my I was gonna pet the dog. But yeah, we play all sorts of those shows, and then also recently, I started playing drums for Jared Farrell, and do like mellow shows and that kind of thing, and that's been a whole lot of fun getting back into drums as well. It shows me that I guess I still have it going for me.
Well, I did listen to a few of your live performances. I mean, you guys look like you have fun. So,
absolutely. That's just main point of all of this. Is always a good time.
And you just announced recently that you're going to not do a whole lot of solos until further notice, I think is what you said.
Yeah. So it really reached a point where I think a lot of the solo shows I was doing were like, again, like cover bar gigs, or it was like breweries and whatnot, and I was playing like usually like the same set list like over and over, and I realized like the most fun I've had were like original shows or shows where I've played with like the band, or just like doing my own like writing, recording like my own like, music stuff. So I think now I kind of want to like take a step back from doing that kind of thing, and one also focus a little bit of energy on school because I still got to pass that and get the housing allowance. That's kind of important. And then, but then also I want to write and record even more stuff. I want to do even more original shows. I want to do more house showcases, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. I want to do more like community local based stuff.
Okay. Well, before we dig in, I just want to let everybody know the show is sponsored by 757livemusic.com, and let me let you hear a little bit about them. This podcast is brought to you by 757livemusic.com, the go-to local live music calendar. Looking for when and where your favorite bands and musicians are playing? Our online calendar covers Gloucester, Yorktown, Williamsburg, Toano, Charles City, and New Kent. With details on live music at 55 plus venues, we've got your next night out covered. Check out 757livemusic.com today. On behalf of local musicians, bands, and venues, thank you for supporting local live music. And please follow us on Facebook and Instagram at 757 Live Music. And we also brought on a new sponsor by the Nickel Knopf's Pub. It's formerly the Brass Tap in Newtown. And come on out on Thursday nights. They do have an open mic hosted by Aaron Bemis. And anyhow, just want to bring them aboard and say thanks for their sponsorship, and come down and check out the new Nickel Knopf's Pub. With that said, we're going to be listening to 3 of your originals tonight. Is there anything you want to say leading up to the first one, which I think is Soar?
Soar. This is the title track of the full concept album that I'm releasing. Soar Beyond, Farther Than You Know. It's this one has already been released on the first half of it, Soar Beyond. It's very raw. I'll just say that. And, that's basically it.
All right. Well, let's without further ado, let's listen.
Took a couple decades to finally understand everybody's got a job to do. It's time for you to stand. Travel far and wide and don't ever look back. Trust no one but yourself and stay focused on your track. Go learn some hard lessons, even tougher truths. This ain't no time to rest. Go soar above it to the moon. You think those people care for you, they wanna watch you fall. Become a beacon in the dark and then go burn them all. And you will soar beyond, farther than you know. You've been destined for greatness. story had begun at the moment of your birth. You can write your heart out and sing what makes you real, but there's no one but yourself that truly knows how you feel. Adjust your eyes to the dark, become one with the shadows. Leave behind your messages and watch your family grow. 'Cause you're the standing ovation and the tune that people hum. You're a product of creation and what dreams are made from. You changed so very much and now your family gets conflicted. They look you in the eye, you're a completely different kid. And you will soar beyond, farther than you know. You've been destined for greatness. Your story had begun at the moment of your birth. Yo, ask child what had happened. You looked so very tired. You can't comprehend their words they're supposed to admire. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, I did all that you asked. I tried my very hardest and I learned to move on fast. When's the last time that you ate? When did you last take a nap? I'm sorry, friends and folks, that's all the time I have. I got more work to do and my time is running down. I gotta kick these legs unless I let myself drown. And I will soar beyond, farther than you know. I've been destined for greatness. My story had begun at the moment of my birth.
Very nice. I'm a big guitar fan, so I loved all the guitar in that.
I don't know if you picked it up. So there's like a weird almost like sound effect happening that you hear when you're listening to the guitars that almost sounds like they're clashing. What I did was I took one track and I made it where it's very treble heavy, but it's lowered on bass. And then I duplicated that with the one that's bass heavy and treble bass. And then as the song progresses, it gets bassier and bassier to the very end.
Oh, sweet.
So there's points where it splices into each other and crosses over.
Sweet. Because you do your own production, right?
Yep. I do all of it in BandLab, which I know is admittedly more for hip hop, I've noticed, for beat production. But for me, I make it work. I've been able to do it so far. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, does any of your influences play in the process of?
I would say definitely. I think more of again, growing up in Jersey. I forget if I actually mentioned that. I grew up in Jersey before I moved here. So my dad is a big U2 fan, so I was very big into U2, and obviously Jersey. I was into Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, that all the old classic rock, I would say. And then it's funny because as I grew up, I started listening to my own kind of tone of of things like Watsky and Crown the Empire and a bunch of our hip hop / metal influences as well. So and I think now lately I've been blending more into the metal side of things, which you'll hear.
Well, I was going to say with Superman, I think.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely hear that.
Because it was a big changeover when I was listening to it. So.
But I think definitely just one thing I really love, especially with U2 and Muse, is that they're very big. I've seen U2 twice, and every time they put on these big grand spectacle shows, and I really dig that, and I love being able to do that. Even just me as one person, I like being able to replicate that. Right.
Well, how did the Hot Messes come to get together? I mean, just playing with them, or I mean,
So we were, so I knew Liz and Nico for a long time, just playing back and forth at open mics. We just meet up, and the main open mics we met up at all the time was Froggy's and HK in the Bay.
Right.
And then I ran to Connor. I want to say I'll say earlier this year, actually. I ran into him a couple of times with some like other people, and he was talking about putting a band together. First it was just gonna be me and him as like a duo thing called the Sleeper Agents, and then we were like, well, we can kind of make a full band because I know me and you have similar interests, and I know I have similar interests to Liz and Nika, so we just kind of came together. And then our first gig was actually at HK in the Bay earlier this year, and then we've been playing more and more shows ever since.
Oh,
then.
that's great.
Quite a bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Songwriting process. I know you touched on it a little bit, so I'll just let you.
Sure thing. So, a lot of people, especially my family, they'll ask back and forth, like, how do you go about like writing your songs? Is it the music first? Is it the lyrics first? I think I'm no different to when every musician says that it's definitely different. It definitely depends on the song as well. Sometimes I think on the last song that we'll hear here, the Neglected Beginning, the riff for it came to me in like a dream or as I was like falling asleep, and I just kind of shot up awake at like 3 a.m. and then I pulled out a voice memo. Actually, if you want,
Yeah.
well, I might be able to find it actually.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But and this one I just played it on like a voice memo that I just like had, and then other times other like songs will just come into me through I just write them down like a song lyric I catch in my head, and that really gets the idea. Okay, wait, I think there you go. So maybe. Oh yeah. So there's two of them actually. So here's one. That's me at like 3 in the morning with the guitar just really. And then the actual lyrics for it. You can say I'm feeling cold. So tired. Yeah, just things like that. Like
That's cool.
They just come out of nowhere, and then it does turn to like a full on song. And then what normally happens is I'll usually get the lyrics first, and then like and then I have like my OneNote like notebook where I have all my lyrics and like a song enactments like thing organized, and then on the same side I have another tab of like chord progressions or like other like voice memos like me like playing on the guitar like things that sound good. And eventually I'll start to like piece together like, okay, that one kind of sounds like it would fit this track, and I put together on just acoustic guitar. And then from there I kind of ask myself like, what kind of song is it going to be?
Right.
Is it going to be a folk song? Is it going to be a metal song, punk, yada yada? And then I just kind of go from there. I usually get the first recordings down. I usually try to do drums first just for tempo and cadence and all that, then bass, then guitar, and then vocals I typically try to do last.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, on that note, I mean, the next song that we're going to play is Superman. Is there any story behind that one?
Yeah, so this one came from me. I went to go visit my brother a few months ago. My brother's in the Marines.
Okay.
So I went.
Happy birthday today.
Yeah, happy
250th.
Yeah. And there's a conversation that we always talk about the military and just the way how it does just like eat away at you.
It does.
Even as me that admittedly I did not really serve in a combat role. The things that I've done, though stressful, still pale in comparison to people that have actually had boots on the ground experience.
Right.
But it still just like eats away at you, even for me as a person in my early 20s. And one line that he always kept repeating, and one thing that I really connected with was everybody like they want a Superman, but nobody knows like what it takes to like for like Superman to like exist. And so that was the main influence for this song.
Cool. When this was off which album?
So this will be coming out and Farther Than You Know. So this will be the first time that I've publicly showed it.
Oh, nice. Here you guys.
All these people recognize it's all you
stuck where they're past the curtain run. It only holds you back. Faded from the world beyond. Shouldn't do it, sharpened sun. Should have buried real strong. Skill to hold you there. Everybody wants Superman, but don't know what it takes to make one. They want the pride and glory, but don't wanna know the path they walk on. They see a rising superstar, but never wanna think about how far or how much more they must go. Under better fog, from which no one can stay. Forever cast away and rots. So below the waves, yet higher than before. There's no one left that could stop you now. And all those walls and all those skeletons. Everybody wants Superman. Everybody wants Everybody wants Superman, but don't know what it takes to make one. They want the pride and glory, but don't wanna know the path they walk on. They see a rising superstar, but never wanna think about how far or how much more we have to go. Yeah.
Wow.
A little different than
A little different. And that's all you, right?
Yeah, but we're really not. Believe it or not, yeah, it is all me. Yeah,
That's wild.
And for those listening, by the way, the way that I do metal screen, because I get asked this all the time, like, how do you do the metal screening? Is I always tell people, do your best like Batman impersonation, like I am Batman, and then you're gonna feel it like towards like opening of your, like your mouth, and
Right.
you get that muscle memory. You kind of force it down lower until it's like. And then that's how you just start to do like all sorts of crazy stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of the notes, I'm not sure if this fits in here or not, but you said the style with your shows and how your looper pedal works.
Yeah. So going back to the whole thing of like me wanting to do like really big grand shows, like even on like on my own, is running backing tracks. That's always been the main thing. I know a lot of other musicians and bands, they'll have like a laptop or they have a sound person that controls it through Logic. But for me, I don't really have that, and I'm holding a guitar or a microphone and or both, and
or harmonica.
Yeah.
I mean,
or harmonica. Yeah. So it started with one thing I started incorporating, which was me playing alone. Was I took a looper pedal. I have a Boss RC5 pedal. And the first thing I learned, well, after I was getting used to like doing it for what was intended was loops, is I learned that you could do like there's drum tracks like pre-recorded in it. And so it first turned into, I would take a song like Paint It Black, and then I would, for my shows, I'd use one of the memory slots and I'd mark it at 170 whatever BPM and it uses Simple Beat 3, and it uses the Rock Kit and Variation B. Yeah. And so I have an Excel spreadsheet of all the 99 memory slots, because that's how crazy this gets. And I started doing that. And then I noticed that you can actually connect it to your computer. I was really wondering what that was for. And it turns out that what it was meant for was you can upload like WAV files of your drum beats. But then I was reading through like the documents of it, and I found out. Yeah, I think Prince needs to go or something. It's fine. Oh, for Prince, it's okay. I'll come back for you later. And I was reading through the documents like guide for it, and I saw that it only has a 15 like gigabit like storage limit for the actual RC5. So I realized if I just like went back into BandLab, took out or lowered the guitar, took out the vocals, and uploaded that to my looper, I can essentially have a full band sound by myself.
Gotcha.
And then that also involved me going to BandLab, splicing different backing tracks, splicing in audio effects, and that's how I've been able to like kind of create like the live like shows that I have of like all the
Nice
with all the different sound effects.
And you have this with you all the time at all your shows?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's on my it's on my
It's on your
board.
pedal.
Yeah, so it's right like there. I don't have to worry about a laptop or anything. And then recently, I recently learned how to incorporate an in-ear like monitoring system with the looper as well, which
wow.
I'm still experimenting with. But if I can get that working, that's like also a major plus for a lot of other type of reasons.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk about the progression of your albums and stuff? And,
yeah. Of course. So I remember as I was I guess I'll technically start at the beginning. Like I started playing guitar in January of 2023, and I knew it wasn't long before I would try to like write like my own song. And I'll eventually reach the first song I ever released was a song called "Another Day," which I still cringe listening to the original audio file. I think every musician, when you hear those first few songs, like wow,
right.
you gotta go through like some mud to really make something good. And that one, and then I made a song called "Ballad of a Boy," which I thought was even worse. And then and eventually I like stopped and I started like recording a whole bunch of more stuff. And then eventually I released like a whole collection. It was like a lo-fi album called Birdhead. It was an EP called Saviors, which was like about my Dungeons and Dragons villain campaign. And then I released Grace, which is like my first like actual like music release of just casual songs that didn't fit into like a lo-fi or like a D&D.
Right.
It was like my type of music. And they went okay. Definitely has aged quite a bit because it's been 2 years since I've obviously changed a lot since then. So and then as I was writing like this first like album, Dear Friends and Family, I knew that this was gonna be my first like real major work of art that I was gonna like present as a musician, and I wanted to have like a full story behind it. So I was looking to the idea of having it be a concept album, and the whole thing about Dear Friends and Family, it's been out for a year, so I can like spoil stuff.
Right.
Yeah. It's all about like the artist mindset of present or like early present and then going past before. The idea of like Dear Friends Family is like it's the whole album is basically me like addressing towards my parents and family like why I'm embarking on this journey, and it toys around the idea of like perfectionism. There's a heavy theme throughout the entire album, whether it's one song, "Do About Perfection," The Neglected Beginning, which we'll hear in a little bit, Blasphemy, Dear My Old Friend, for those tracks, where it's all about like the idea of like you're never going to be like perfect, because that's just it's just not going to happen no matter how much you beat yourself up for it. And I released that, and people seem to enjoy it quite a bit, and I thought it was really cool that despite the fact that it's an 18-track album, which is a lot for most people,
that is a lot
for nowadays, and I'll talk about my mindset about that later on. I knew that I liked the idea of having these like massive like stories and like these like in-depth like layered like songs to actually have like meaning to it. I'm not really a musician to put out a single like every like couple months or so, and I completely understand for people that do, because that is how you get streams, and that is how you like kind of build no right. But I like having a complete set, and then Soar Beyond Farther Than You Know is essentially present and future. And that's how it does connect to the original album. There are connections. There's a whole story there as well in entirety. But that's all I'll say for now before it gets released on some. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And I was, it's just a funny little tidbit. I was watching your YouTube video about your 2025 year. Yeah. Goals were set, and then you had your is it Latino cockatiel?
A white-faced Latino cockatiel.
Okay.
Yeah, Leonardo. Yeah, Leo is definitely my pride and joy for a lot of reasons.
Oh, that's awesome. He was being a little vocal through.
So it's funny because like unironically, Leo actually has like her own like producer tags as well. It's crazy because like if you hear throughout all my even in Soar Beyond Farther Than You Know, like you'll hear in the background, like just like, and like it got to a point where at first I was like, all right, come on, I gotta like sing, but like that's what builds like personality.
Exactly.
Like that's how you like. I feel like that little element is how you like, for any listener that listens to me first time, it reminds them that like throughout
it's real.
It's real. Without all this grandness, like I'm still in my bedroom doing this by myself.
Yeah.
Like I can never like take like one of my songs and go to like a big studio without having Leo there. Like,
Right.
I can't do it.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the third song is The Neglected Beginning. You want to expand on?
The Neglected Beginning is the opening track to Dear Friends and Family. It's So again, going back to the fact that this is like the first major like release I've had since like all the little singles and EPs or whatever. So this is like basically the first impression that I ever gave to anybody as a musician. Despite the fact that admittedly the vocals are outdated and the production's outdated and things are definitely rough with it. This is still, I think, one of my proudest songs because I love the lyrics and the meaning behind it. And I think to this day, like that part holds up to it. And it's funny because I feel like even now as I progress and change in my music career, I still go back to this song as like I am going through another neglected beginning with another track of music.
That's awesome. Well, here you go.
You can say that I've been feeling colder lately. Haven't felt a hand on my shoulder lately. Eyes adjusted to the dark, no need to fear. Adding more logs to the burning pyre. Crossing off names, list keeps climbing higher. Shadows encompass the room, they're too sincere. And when I'm stuck in silence, I start to get a bit of repentance. 'Cause I ain't dying anytime soon. Cross my heart, I hope to die in 100 years or so. 'Cause I got more work to do. No matter how much the wings hurt, for some metamorphosis. Stuck in silence, I start to get a bit of repentance. Ain't dying anytime soon. Cross my heart, I hope to die in 100 years or so. Got more work to do. No matter how much the wings hurt, there's a metamorphosis.
Very nice. Your vocal range is amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, is there anything you want to cover that we haven't covered? Or, I mean...
I guess the only thing I really cover next is like just going forward with like my music career and just like these other so I want to do. Like I said, I want to take a step back from like doing like solo shows and focus more on like writing more music.
Right.
There's still other couple like hidden projects that I'm like trying to work on for like creatively that I want to do. I think one thing I've noticed is as I'm entering my third year into actually like doing music professionally, like the first year is all about learning the instruments and learning the ways of the music industry. And I think this whole last year has been about like me actually performing. I've been getting like more and more shows and actually like doing the bar gigs, the brewery gigs,
Right.
like kind of thing. Next year, what I want to focus on is more of the little bit more of the artistic side and also more of like the local like community growth. That's why I've been doing things lately. Like I've been hosting this series called Life in the VB Garden. It's a house show series where I take on artists. I literally put them, I literally put them in my backyard, and I say,
Is that like a showcase or okay?
Yeah, exactly that.
All right.
I like people come by and they just and it's like play, and I think realize what I'm realizing more is that like what I thought I wanted with music when I first started is completely different than like how I see it now. I guess when I first saw the idea of like me playing in bars all the time and doing the 3-4 hour gigs and I play my own original music and you know people but it's just not like that nowadays.
Right.
Especially when it comes like things like the algorithm and just like Spotify and streaming platforms and try to create those drop singles that are 30 minutes long or 3 minutes 30 seconds long. For me, I want to focus more on actual like the artsy side of it and try to build like my own like kind of community out of it. I don't want to. It completely goes against like industry norms, and it's probably gonna like it probably won't take off as much as I want to do. But I have like ideas that I want to try and implement for that.
Right. Because you just with your recent album, which is the Soar Beyond, right?
Yep, Soar Beyond was in August 15th. That's when
right.
Released,
and you released that. Had a release party or with I want to say Sicily with Lavender Fire, right?
Yeah, it was her. Yeah, it was. We played back and forth because she did From Shouts to Light, so she was advertising all that. So we had a couple people come out.
Right.
That was a whole lot of fun, and it was there where I actually announced farther than you know was coming out as well.
Right. Well, I've been talking with her because we're going to do another one for her coming up in November 30th. So on the podcast. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, she's great.
With that said, what are your upcoming shows and performances that you want to cover with everybody?
This Friday, me and my band, the Hot Messes, we're gonna be playing a whole band lineup with Reagan Bloom and a Touch of Debauchery at a Riff House Pub over in Chesapeake.
Okay.
That's at 7 p.m. and I think that runs till either 10 p.m. or 11.
Okay.
Those times. And then I know I said I was stepping down from solo shows, but I gotta sneak at least one more in before the year. I'm playing December 6th at Voodoo Brewing Company in Williamsburg, actually.
Okay.
That's be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. December 6th. So that'll be a fun time to do that by cover.
And that's for the rest of the year, or you got anything more before the end of the year?
I did apply to go play out at Porchella 2025. It's like a music festival thing in like Ghent area, like Norfolk. I don't know if I'll get it or not. If not, it's not the end of the world. But those are the only shows I have lined up for the rest of the year so far.
I mean, we'll tag you and everything, but you want to let everybody know how they can hear your stuff, where you want to go, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, of course. So you can find me on Instagram as cadence.music.writes. That's Cadence with a K. Cadence.music.writes. Facebook is Kadence Grunder.
There's a little story behind that. I heard you on the video talk about why you don't say writes music.
Oh yeah. So fine. Yeah. So it's Cadence.music.writes because like I do music, but I also do creative writing. So that's why it's Cadence Music Writes and not Cadence Writes Music.
Right.
Yeah. And then YouTube is, I think my handle on there is just at Kadence KG, just Kadence Grunder. You can find me. Spotify, Apple Music, all that is just under Kadence. And then that's basically that.
Right. Well, is there anybody you want to say thanks to or mention
if I had to say thanks to everybody, I live here. I guess the main people that I know off the top of my head, first and foremost, obviously my parents, my family back at home, mom, Mike,
we're at New Jersey,
Linden, Linden, New Jersey, including all my other like friends at home and my brother Kyle, who's out in California right now. Friends back at home, Louis, Tom, Chris, Jerry. And here in the local area, I'll definitely say other musician friends, Evan Maselli, Liz, Nico, Connor helped me out as well. All the open mic hosts that have been putting up with me the past 2 years to the point where I kind of got good. Marty Seymour, Damian Wade, Jackie Rose, there's literally like just like all of them that have been like helping me build a platform for all this. All the other music people, and also all the people that don't play instruments that come out to shows.
Right.
I have a friend named AJ, my friend Ren, who's always been like a massive, huge like support to me. There's just so many people that I think like like us musicians would not be doing this if it wasn't for the people that come along and they get dragged along the way,
Right.
like for us and with us to these late night gigs. I really could not thank any of them enough.
Do you think anything that you've done you're going to nominate it for Veer or anything like that?
So I know last year I was nominated for a folk artist of the year. I didn't win, but that was a cool nomination.
Right.
I did send the 2 CDs to what's this? I just sent
Veer, yeah.
Yeah, I said Veer. So
Cool.
hopefully get nominated. If not, then something else.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing you there because it's always a good venue, and it's going to be at the
Norva.
this year. So,
one. Yeah.
But that's cool. Well, thanks for coming here and sharing your story. And something new comes up, we'll get you back on here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. It's been
All right. All right, everybody, have a good one. Thanks for tuning in.
This is Bobby Blackhat. Thanks for listening.
Put on your red shoes. Put on your red shoes. Put on your red shoes. Put on your red